Students, now we will deal with the topics as ideal and real gases and van der Waals equations. A gas which obeys all the general gas equations and other gas laws at all temperature and pressure is known as ideal gas, or we call it as a perfect gas. So, how the real gases are behaving if they are following the equation PV is equal to nRT at all conditions, that is at all temperature and pressure, they are known as your ideal gases. However, none of the actual known gases obey this equation over the entire range of temperature and pressure. At best, the gases shows ideal behavior at low pressure and high temperatures. As the pressure become high and temperature become low, more and more deviations are observed from the general gas equation and other gas law, and this is known as deviations from ideal gas behavior. And these gases which does not follow the gas law or gas equation is known as real gas or ideal gas. So all gases which are actually known to exist, such as oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc., are your real gases, and they show ideal behavior to different extent. Means they may show the ideal behavior at your low pressure and high temperature, but at all the range of temperature and pressure, they will not behave as an ideal gas. They will not follow the gas equation. So I have given you here a graph in which a PV graph is plotted against a pressure. The one which is going to a straight line is your ideal gas, in which the ideal gas is following the equation PV is equal to nRT. Whereas the graph plotted for carbon monoxide, methane, hydrogen or helium does not follow that straight line. They are undergoing some deviation from this behavior. This deviation can be positive or the deviation can be negative. So for hydrogen and helium, as the pressure increase, the value of PV also increase, as you can see in the graph. For carbon monoxide and methane, first there is a negative deviation, mean they comes down the zero lines ideal gas behavior. There is negative deviation, they reaches to a minimum value. After that, the PV value start increasing, showing the positive deviations. So some of the gases only show the positive deviation, some shows the negative deviation, and some may shows the positive as well as negative deviations. The real gases does not follow ideal gas equation perfectly at all condition. If this means that the pressure versus graph is plotted, then the experimental data, that is real gases, and the theoretical calculation from the Boyle's law for the ideal gases should not coincide with each other. So here again a graph has been plotted between pressure and volume, and we see that at lower pressure and higher volume, the real gases and ideal gases are coinciding with each other. As the volume decreases and the pressure is increases, we are having the two different graphs for ideal gas and real gases. So real gases becomes ideal gases at low pressure and your high volume. Otherwise, these gases will behave as your real gases. They are not going to follow the ideal gas equation, or we can say that the experimental data is for your real gases, and the theoretical data that we have obtained from the Boyle's law for the ideal gases will not coincide with each other. This shows that high pressure, the measured volume is more than the calculated volume, whereas at low pressure, measured and calculated volume almost approaches each other. In a simple way, we can measure this deviations from the ideal gas behavior, and we measure that deviation by a factor known as compressibility factor. So we know that PV is equal to nRT, and if we correlate this equation, it will become PV upon nRT, and this PV upon nRT is known as your compressibility factor, which is denoted by Z. For ideal gases, the value of this Z will become 1 under all conditions of temperature and pressure, whether the condition temperature is high or low, or the pressure is high or low. For all temperature and pressure, the value of Z for all the ideal gases will be 1, because PV is equal to nRT. But for the real gases, PV is not equal to nRT, so Z may be less than 1 or it may be greater than 1. If it is less than 1, it is called a negative deviation from the ideal gas behavior, and in these cases, the gases are less compressible than expected from the ideal gas behavior. And if the Z value is greater than 1, this means it is showing the positive deviation. Okay, and in this case, the gases are less compressible than expected from the ideal behavior at all pressures. The ideal gases equation is almost valid at low pressure for all gases, because deviation are low at high pressure. Z is always greater than unity. If Z is always greater than 1 for hydrogen and helium, these gases are less compressible, whereas the Z value is less than 1 for nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide at low pressure and greater than 1 at high pressure. Now, what is the effect of temperature over these gases? I have plotted this graph again with PV is increasing P. The deviation from the ideal behavior becomes less and less as the temperature increases. This means at higher temperature, the real gas will behave as your ideal gas. So the temperature at which the real gases behave as an ideal gas is known as your Boyle's temperature. Now we will deal with the significance of Z, that is compressibility factor, and we all know that Z is equal to PV upon nRT, and for the ideal solution the volume will become nRT upon P. And if we divide this first equation, or we can place the value of volume of the ideal solution in the first equation, we get P nRT upon into nRT upon P, and this is the volume for the ideal gas. So Z will become V real upon V ideal. Therefore, the compressibility factor is the ratio of actual molar volume of a gas to the molar volume of it if it were an ideal gas at the temperature and pressure. At low temperature and high pressure, the gas differs significantly from the ideal behavior, whereas at high temperature and low pressure, the gases will behave as an ideal gas. So what is the cause of this deviation from ideal behavior? There are two faulty assumptions in kinetic gas theory. First one is that the molecules were considered as point masses and the volume occupied by the gas molecule is negligible as comparison to the total volume of the gas. And the second one, it was assumed that there are no intermolecular forces between the molecule and the molecules moves independently. If we assume the first point over here, it means that the pressure versus graph for experimental data and the theoretical calculated from the Boyle's law should coincide at all temperature and pressure. However, this is not so. This assumption is valid only under ordinary conditions of temperature and pressure. The fraction is negligible as comparison to that of the total volume. However, as the temperature is considerably decreased or the pressure is increased, the total volume of the gas decreases, whereas the volume occupied by the molecules remain the same, because the molecule is incompressible. Therefore, the fraction of the molecule of the volume of the molecule cannot be neglected under these conditions, and this proves the invalidity of this postulate at high pressure and low temperature. If we consider the second point, that there is no intermolecular force of attraction between the molecules and the molecules move independently. However, we know that gases get liquefied when cooled and compressed. This means the force of repulsion are stronger enough and prevent the molecules in a tiny volume. However, the exception is also valid at low pressure and high temperature because the molecules lie far apart from one another. On the other hand, at high pressure and low temperature, the volume of the gas is quite small. Consequently, the distance between the molecule decreases and attraction forces, though very, very small, exist between them. As a result, the number of collisions with the walls of the container get affected, resulting in lower value of pressure than what actually should be in the absence of intermolecular forces. Therefore, this postulate is also invalid at low temperature and high pressure. So how we have removed these defaulty exemptions, or how we have corrected these deviation? So there are two types of correction. First one is the correction due to the volume, and second one is the correction due to the intermolecular forces. If we deal with the correction of the volume occupied by the molecule cannot be neglected in comparison to that of the total volume. Okay, this means that the molecules are not free to move in a whole of the volume of the container, but the free volume is less than the observed volume. Mean if there is a room, this is your whole volume, but the molecules are moving to a limited space, that is your observed volume. So जितना observed volume लग रहा है, the free volume is less than that of the observed volume. The ideal volume of a gas is less than that of the observed volume. Therefore, van der Waals suggested a suitable correction term to be subtracted from the observed volume because observed volume is more. The correction term for 1 mole of the gas is introduced as B, and which depends upon the nature of the gas. So here V corrected will be V minus B for 1 mole, and V corrected equal to V minus NB for n moles. And B is your 4 times the actual volume of your molecule. So the value of B becomes 4 into 4 by 3 pi r cube for 1 mole. And if it is a number of moles, then it will be your 1 molecule, and if there is a number of moles, then it will be multiplied by that Avogadro numbers. Now, correction due to the intermolecular forces. If the particle is present in the center, there is no network of force is acting on it because all the forces are acting in all the directions, so the network force becomes 0. However, if the molecule is at the corner of the container, it may be pulled toward inside by the neighboring molecules. As a result, the number of collision with the wall of the container becomes less. Therefore, the observed pressure is less than the ideal pressure, and consequently, the correction term which is to be added will be your P dash, and the value of P dash is your A upon V square for 1 mole and A n square upon V square for n moles. So here we are having the two terms. One is your volume correction and second one is your pressure correction. But when we put these two terms, corrected terms, in the equation ideal gas PV is equal to nRT, so in place of P we can write the corrected term as P plus A n square upon V square, and for volume the corrected term is V minus NB, and the equation will become P plus A n square upon V square into V minus NB is equal to nRT, and this is your real gas equation or the van der Waals equation. What is the significance of A and B over here? The A measures the force of attraction between the molecules of a gas. Greater the value of A between the molecule, greater is the strength of the van der Waals interaction. So, as the value of A for the gases with high molecular weight is high, they are easily liquefied. So the gases having higher value of A will be easily liquefied because these gases will have a force of attraction between them. And when there is a force of attraction between them, these molecules will come close to each other and they will convert into liquid. Similarly, the constant B relates to the incompressibility volume of the molecules and measures the effective size of the gas molecule. How much incompressible volume is there of the molecule and what is the size of the molecule is measured by the constant B. And we know that B is not equal to the actual volume of the molecule, but it is 4 times the actual volume of the molecules. Similarly, if we go for the units, the unit of A is your atmosphere liter square per mole square and B is your liter per mole. By this, the chapter has been completed. Hope you get the chapter.